welcome Live Connection fans and new viewers.
Come on, keep it up.
New viewers?
If you are a new viewer, welcome. This is Live Connection podcast number 20.
You bet
and
it
we're starting
is.
this podcast. This is a new segment we're calling the Live Connection Mystery Incorporated.
Why don't we introduce ourselves first?
What I love about that is
Well,
that since we stream the podcast before it goes live in any other way, Evans thinks that there's a new viewer. Something like, oh man, this podcast I've never seen before is going live soon.
I will introduce ourselves, Peter. I was getting there. That's part of the. It's
Okay.
part of the segment. It's
Yeah.
Part of the
This
mystery.
This
Yeah.
is Detective Jack, and
Hello.
this is Detective Matt.
Hello.
Detective Grayden.
Inspector.
Inspector Grayden. I'm Supervisor Evan.
Oh.
Actually, no. I'm Rookie Evan, and that is Supervisor Peter
Wow,
off
what a-
camera over
Off
there.
camera.
And
What is
so
emotion?
Detective Matthew, can you introduce today's mystery?
That's right, Evan. Today we have a Pokemon mystery, and I'd like to show everyone the evidence of this mysterious new Pokemon announcement. Play the footage, Peter.
Evidence. What's the crime?
What's the crime?
Yeah,
The
explain
crime.
it a little
The
bit.
crime is that a certain mischievous Pokemon has hacked the Pokemon website and leaked
No.
a new Pokemon that's yet to be announced.
Is
But
that it right there?
The information has been corrupted. Peter, why don't you click on
Is
that?
it the
Why
sword
don't
or the shield one?
One
It's
at-
that thing
one
on the
at
right,
top-
Peter.
Which one is
The little
Oh,
fuzzy
this.
picture.
Actually, Peter. Oh, it's getting away from you. All right, you got it.
That's missing number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I changed my mind. You both are detectives. I'm Rookie. Graydon's still.
What is this?
I want to be an officer. I changed my mind.
Graydon's officer and Peter's commissioner. Commissioner
All
Peter.
right, Rookie, why don't you sit down and shut your mouth and let
No,
the
no, I'm
detectives
going back to
tell you
Inspector.
about the
Oh
mystery
my
Pokemon.
Lord.
Okay,
All
so
right,
this
everyone.
This is our mystery Pokemon.
I'm
Yeah,
Inspector.
Matt, look how heavy it is.
It's a
Yeah.
thick boy.
Yeah, it's a thick
oh my
boy.
god.
So we're gonna run through the theories that Grayden and Jack have because we've already discussed our theories.
That's right. That's
so we
right.
don't want to spoil it.
That's right.
I mean, I was here when you were talking about it earlier.
Okay, so
Oh.
Grayden,
Graded?
Detective Officer Grayden,
No. Inspector. I went back.
Inspector Grayden,
Is that how it works?
Inspector
Yeah,
Grayden.
it's like-
What?
I get to choose
He
what I
had
want
he
to
had like a higher level. Then he's like, I'm going back to officer.
Yeah.
And it's like in L.A. Noir where you're like on the vice desk and then you mishandle that drug case and you're like, you're on the arson desk now, Phelps.
Oh, I think you also committed adultery. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that
that's
helped.
right.
That helped.
Yeah,
You
which was
dropped
probably
too.
a crime in the 1940s.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Great. What is
Who's
your
great?
theory about this Pokemon?
Who's great? This is Inspector.
Inspector Grayden. What are your theories about this
mystery.
Pokemon?
This hacker.
What's that Pokemon with the leak?
That
You
Pokemon.
Googled it. You
no,
cheater.
I didn't Google it. I was Googling Pokemon weight, so I could figure out what it was. But that's what I think.
You know,
Pokemon with the lead.
this guy's got potential because.
What do you mean he's got a higher rank than
Oh,
you?
this-
Supervisor, you guys
I'm sorry, you changed it so many times. I don't even remember which one it was.
Keep you on your
I think
toes.
inspectors are higher than detectives,
They are.
right?
Yeah.
Inspector Gadget. Yeah.
Inspector, this is why you make the big bucks, my friend, because even though it is not yet confirmed, it remains a mystery in the eyes of Pokemon.com. If you turn the image on its side, Peter, did you
What?
close all the other? No, sorry. Go
Oh,
to
you
the
want
next
me to
tab.
bring over a new tab?
Go to the next tab.
If you
I thought you were like,
Using-
quickly, rotate.
using Peter,
Enhance.
zoom and enhance.
So when you look at it sideways, it makes it a bit more apparent that you can see the beak in the middle, and you can see that the leak has become like a big spear, and he's got a shield. And then if you go back to the website, Peter.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry, I didn't tell you
Oh,
that
like
you're going.
Sword
back.
Commissioner
Shield?
Peter.
Sorry, Commissioner Peter.
Oh, I got an upgrade.
You've always been commissioner.
If you read the dialogue at the bottom, it says only blank that have survived many battles can attain this blank. When this Pokemon's blankers, it will retire from combat. So you could probably fill those blanks with only Farfetch'd that have survived many battles can attain this form or evolution. It's a toss-up because this Generation 8 is the first time they've introduced new evolutions for older Pokemon since Gen 4. But they're making it so the Pokemon has a Galarian form, and then the Galarian form gets an evolution. So it's kind of an alternate. So it's either like an alternate form of Farfetch'd or a straight up evolution.
Oh, I know
of
what the
Farfetch'd.
second sentence says.
What does it
It's
say?
Sir, I know I'm just a rookie, but let me just take a crack at this
Yeah,
code.
yeah.
I think it's when this Pokemon's sword or spear shatters it will retire from combat.
Yeah.
Or it could be when this Pokemon's arrow gets neared or something like that. It will retire.
Wow, he was doing so well, and then he said that.
I'm
Yeah.
still learning. I'm still learning.
And
sir.
Peter, if you show that art, it gives a good idea of like what it probably is going to end up looking
In
like.
Farfetch's original art, does he hold the leak in his left wing?
No,
that's
Peter.
a
Zoom and enhance. And by
Peter,
zoom and enhance,
Commissioner
I mean,
Peter. Actually,
Google
no. Analyst Peter is Jack's commissioner now.
I'm the commissioner.
You've
yeah,
been upgraded.
congratulations.
Hell
You
yeah.
got a promotion.
Dang.
Commissioner Jack and Analyst Peter.
Where did it go?
You have it on
Okay,
the other.
there.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so like I guess that's kind of what it's going to end up looking like. It's also interesting that it's a pure fighting type.
Those arts are completely wrong, though.
No, that's just an
Oh no,
artist
never
rendition.
mind. It's wrong. I mean, it's right. Sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I shouldn't speak when not spoken to.
Yeah, but that's basically that. It's on this day of streaming / recording. It is 2 months today until Pokemon Sword and Shield come out. I'm very excited.
Do we know when they're going to release like what this sprite actually is?
I don't know. Pokemon have taken a completely different approach to the way they reveal information this time around. So, like, this was honestly really unpredictable in and of itself, because usually they just do an info drop within the first week of every month, and then this month's info drop was in the Nintendo Direct. And so, like, I mean, this is only a comparatively small detail, and for all we know, they might not tell us who it actually is until October's info drop on the 5th or somewhere like that.
Quick question for you.
Shoot.
When new Pokemon are released for like the new games, the new regions, is it common that a lot of the newer Pokemon will be
Like appear more
designed
frequently
for that region? Like, you know, Kalos with a lot of would have like a lot of French or Gothic influence. I don't know if that's the right words to use.
It's hard to say. Like they always seem to like introduce such a variety of different designs that it doesn't feel like they're really sourced in one place. Like,
because like I mean, obviously the bottom two are the fan arts for it.
Yeah.
But I would go on a limb and say that if there was going to be a third evolution, it would have nothing to do with like, it looks like that's got samurai or some sort of influence.
Yeah.
Like, it's a long leak. I would say if they're going to go for this kind of style, it's going to be more of a knight style because it's British,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
England. So like maybe the third style would be like, I don't know. Maybe it's riding a horse or something.
yeah. Well, I don't
Smaller
know.
Farfetch, but it is
That'd be
forced
funny,
into
actually.
servitude.
If like the third evolution was like just the second evolution riding the first evolution.
Oh my god.
1 + 2 = 3.
Isn't that what they did with Diglett? Or
Kind of.
They just added more of him. They were like,
Yeah.
there you go, I have some friends. Yeah, I think it's more likely that it has the left arts more design, where it's a knight, you know, like it's a heavy armor knight. Because if you look
Yeah.
at the proportion of like Sir Knight's midsection, like below its belt on its actual body, it does look pretty like thick and wide, especially if you compare it to the shield.
I was also going to say, if you look at like where the beak is, and you look like at what it would normally be its eyes, that almost looks like eyes coming out of a slit of like a visor from a helmet.
Yeah, which would
yeah.
make sense because
Yeah.
it kind of like everything that you can see on them is this pure white, and he weighs a ton. So you would think that maybe he has this armor on too.
Because a duck does not weigh 257 pounds.
Yeah,
No.
it's hard to justify
not in
that.
this universe.
Which it could just be. They could just say that the leak is some sort of steel and the shield itself is some sort
Yeah.
of hard material, which causes it to weigh so much.
Do we know what type of
The-
Pokemon
it-
it
the
is?
type is fighting.
Drew says it's thick.
He's thick.
He is a thick boy.
Yeah, it's fighting type, which really throws everything for a loop because it means that regular Farfetch'd is normal and flying, and so not only does it drop a secondary type, which almost never happens, but it completely changes its first type. Like those types of absolute type changes just don't really happen in Pokemon progression. You know what I'm saying?
So are we?
What about
It's
Eevee?
I
Eevee's,
guess-
Eevee's one of the only examples.
well. He said second type drop. not
Well,
first
no,
type.
like he does have a point. Like it's actually really rare that like a Pokemon's type will just completely change from one to the other. Like it used to be that Azurill was normal type, and then Marill and Azumarill were water type.
but now they're
then
water fairy.
that's
or something.
that's exactly it. And so Eevee's pretty much the only example of that. Otherwise, it's like when Swablu evolves into Altaria, it drops its normal type and gets Dragon type.
Yeah.
But like that's pretty much the only time you really see that happen.
So, are we fairly confident that this will be like a Farfetch evolution, or do you think it's going to be like this is going to be a Farfetch variant? Like this is a different form of Farfetch. Farfetch doesn't evolve into this, but this is like the Galar
The Galarian
Farfetch.
form. Yeah,
Yeah.
Can you go back to the description one more time, Peter? I just want to see how it's like worded, everything that's not blanked out.
Did they do away
Oh,
with
of,
different regional variants for this game? I don't
No,
remember.
they've already confirmed like a Zigzagoon
That's right.
Galarian
Yeah.
form, which can evolve into a third form past Zangoose.
Or Linoon.
Lunoon.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't know if I'm going to play this game. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan in the world. If I do, and it is like a far-fetched evolution, he's going to be on my fucking team. Because I've always found something about far-fetched to be very endearing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it also kind of, the fact that it says only blank that have survived many battles, it's kind of a fun fit of the way that like Farfetch is a Generation 1 Pokemon, and despite the fact that all of these single stage evolution Pokemon have gotten some sort of power up, like a Mega Evolution or just a standard evolution, and Farfetch has just remained like its same mediocre self, it makes sense that it would take this long for its evolution to show up, which is kind of what it hits at there. And then it's only blank that have survived many battles can attain this blank, so
And-
attain this form maybe, so like, but that would imply like attain this kind of implies evolution. But considering the only Pokemon that is an evolution of a previous Pokemon in this generation is through a Galarian form, it would mean that there would have to be a pre-evolution to this Pokemon, which is similar to Farfetch but has a different design.
Do you think the way that's worded means that you have to fulfill a certain requirement to make the previous form of this Pokemon evolve?
Yeah, well, isn't that the same for all evolutions?
Well, no,
though?
but
Kinda.
that'd be like an interesting way to do it. Like your Farfetch has to be above level 20, but it also has to have won like 20 battles in a row.
Or it has to
Yeah.
have like
defeated.
like hit the final blow in a battle or something.
Yeah,
like that.
without fainting itself.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool way to evolve. a
That
Pokemon.
that actually would be really cool.
That would be cool.
And they do always implement like a couple really interesting ways to evolve your Pokemon. Like in Generation 6, there's a Pokemon called Inkay, and it's like a little squid, but then its evolution Malamar is like an evil squid, and Inkay, Malamar looks like Inkay turned upside down.
Yeah, like a yin and
so
yang type deal.
Yeah, so when you evolve it, you have to turn your 3DS upside down. He has to hit level 30, and then you have to turn it upside down to make it evolve.
Oh, that's
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. I kind of doubt they do that with the Switch. They don't really have a way to do it, but
Okay, Detective Matt, this is my last question
Yeah, shoot.
regarding this case. What do we know what the ability Steadfast is already? Or
Steadfast, every time a Pokemon flinches, its speed stat increases.
Are you a
Interesting.
Wikipedia, Matt, of Pokemon?
I'm just
Yeah.
really, really,
I-
really smart when it comes to Pokemon.
I think, as the rookie of the group, my theory is that this could potentially be far-fetched. And I think even this ability supports it, because a lot of bird Pokemon, and I'm pulling this right out of my evidence locker.
Your evidence behind.
A lot of bird Pokemon, I believe, have abilities that increase their speed after attacks. Is that right?
Hold on.
Detective?
Let me just look in my dictionary.
He doesn't.
What is the definition of speed?
That
85
is, or sorry, let me look in my Bulbapedia. That is correct. Many Pokemon are associated with abilities that either raise their speed or prevent them from being lowered, I think.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Can I present a potentially unpopular opinion?
Please do.
No.
No. Okay.
I think that Grayden deserves to be heard.
No.
You have no say over here, analyst. Get out of here.
No.
Analyst. No. Now, what if it's just a turret from Halo? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you just get a guy to stand on the right, and then that's the
Yeah.
barrel.
Oh
and it
yeah,
doesn't look
like the
This is the
warthog
barrel?
turret.
like a warthog turret.
People are gonna be shocked if, like, when it's announced that it actually just looks like that. It's not turned sideways.
This is actually Nintendo's tongue-in-cheek way of announcing Chief for Smash.
Well, the last thing I'd like to quickly bring up before we move on from Pokemon is I want to let you guys know something I'm very excited about.
Wait, is
That
this
you're
with the
streaming
does this
November
have to do
20th?
with the case?
No, but it does have to do with Pokemon.
Okay,
Sword and
well,
Shield.
just quickly, let us know what you think about this mystery. As for now, we could not solve it ourselves. We have running theories, but this case will have to be closed for now and put in our cold case section. Maybe we might pick it up later.
the case might become hot again when Nintendo literally just announces who this Pokemon is.
He's just gonna put it in the X-Files here. This one's for Mulder and Scully.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, Matt. Moving on.
All I was gonna say is Pokemon did something kind of cool in August. Like they've been releasing trailers like once per month, but then we got a second surprise trailer in August that was on the over the Pokemon World Championships, and it was really cool how they did this because they've never done this kind of acknowledgement before. But it was basically a trailer geared more towards like elements of battling, and they announced that there's gonna be like a ranked system. So like Pokemon introduced a rank system before Smash did, but it's like beginner tier, Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, Master Ball, and then they're gonna hold online competitions. And if you do well in a bunch of online competitions, you'll get invited to go to the Pokemon World Championships in London. And I wanted to do a trip to England next year anyway, so I'm gonna like really try to buckle down and see if I can place well enough in those tournaments to do it.
Can you EV train your Pokemon for that, or
there's definitely going to be a way to do it in Sword and Shield for whether it's a long, painstaking, easy way or like easy but long time like what Pokepelago is, or if there's an actual way to do it in the game that's just like really quick.
Get rid of that and like vanilla Pokemon use.
No, they're gonna keep the same kind of in-depth battle system that they've always had.
So
but
you can just like speed train the shit out of like I don't know.
They've made it easier and easier in each generation, so I think they're gonna make it even more accessible in this. There's also a really cool thing where you can do how just like how you make and upload a level in Super Mario Maker with a code, and then you can download other people's levels. You can actually do the same thing for Pokemon teams. It's called rental teams. So like even if like you don't want to take the time to make a competitive team, you just see a team that you like and you can use it in like ranked battles and stuff. So
I have a question about that.
Please ask.
How will the official version differentiate from like the fan version of battles where you have like different tiers of Pokemon, like you have the overused tier and like the never used tier and stuff like that?
So
is that official, or is that, because I've always figured that's just something that fans do to like differentiate between certain Pokemon can't fight against each other because others have an advantage?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the OU, like it's the Smogon rule set. It's like a community built thing. What official competitive format? It's actually double battles. You come in with a team of 6, but you can only use 4 per battle, and it doesn't have the same restrictions that like Smogon does. Like it restricts legendary Pokemon to an extent, mythical Pokemon to an extent, whereas like Smogon admits those Pokemon if they fit enough, like fair enough in other battle tiers. So they'll have like Ubers, which is mostly cover legendaries, but then Pokemon like Greninja or Mega Lucario or Pokemon that are just so overpowered that that's the only tier they can go to. So it kind of plays by different rules. Like you can use a lot more Pokemon that are just super busted because they don't have any criteria that prevents them from being in the tier. And then the VGC format is kind of interesting anyways. Like it's like usually in Smogon it's single battles and you can just do like all 6 Pokemon, but VGC like forces the game to kind of go a little bit faster because you can't use like stalling tactics and you only have 4 Pokemon. So I'm pretty decent at both. Like you can actually, like for the ranked system, you can do single and double battles, which is kind of cool because we'll still get to kind of experience doing single battles. But when it comes to the competitions that are actually going to hopefully get me to the World Championships, it's going to be all VGC double battles.
And can you use the rental Pokemon for that?
You can.
Or do you have to make the team? Like, is there a preference for one or the other?
What's the criteria for making the team? Could I, if I was a super nerd that's always had a huge bank of Pokemon for my entire life?
Yeah.
Just like, I want this legendary, this legendary, and this one.
Yeah. So it kind of changes as time goes on. Like they usually do a different format each year for the competitive one. So when the game comes out, it's likely going to be all of the Pokemon that are available in the Galar Pokedex. And mind you, you can only use Pokemon from the Galar Pokedex anyways, bar legendaries and mythical Pokemon. So it's going to be more about just the main bulk of like Pokemon, you know, not necessarily about legendaries. But then like last year's format, because it was the last year of VGC play in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they did a format where you can use 2 restricted Pokemon on your team, and it's just like cover legendaries like Groudon, Kyogre, Xerneas, Zekrom, like pretty much anybody you want, right? But you could,
guys
sorry.
play at a base level for these?
What do you
Like,
mean?
Is everyone the
everyone's
same
level 50. Yeah,
Okay.
it puts everyone to level 50. So
Why that? Why not 100?
I don't get it either. I mean, like the only thing that it would actually really change about the balance of the game is that moves like Seismic Toss and Nightshade that do damage equal to the user's level would do 100 damage instead of 50. And so like Smogon uses level 100, and it means that Pokemon like Blissey that don't have very good attack power can use a move that does 100 damage every time. But level 100 Pokemon generally have around 300 HP, so you know it would take
A few hits. to
Yeah,
actually-
exactly. So
If you make it to the World Pokemon Championships, how hyped and excited would you be?
I would be.
And would you like get a tattoo or something to commemorate your achievement?
There's a Pokemon tattoo that I want to get anyways, but I wouldn't necessarily make it about getting to the World Championships. I mean, getting to the World Championships would be a major achievement, and it would be a goal in a way, but like I wouldn't be able to go there reasonably thinking that I've won, because I've been playing competitive Pokemon for a while. I've been playing Pokemon all my life, so I know it very well as like an existing thing.
So do like millions. Of
Yeah,
other people,
but
though.
there are people that are just better. It's the way it is, right? Like it would be a tremendous achievement for me to even go to the championships, even if I lost. But it's one of the only things that I feel like I'm good enough at that I could really hold my own or like really have a shot, you know? Because I never made it far doing competitive Smash, but competitive Pokemon, I know how good I am at that.
Well, it's competitive Pokemon is really just strategy
Yeah.
and luck. Like those
Yeah.
are like the 2 main components of
Yeah.
it, right? Where Smash is strategy and actual.
Skill.
And don't take this the wrong way.
No, I get it.
skill, because you actually have to. If you can't physically play the character, it doesn't matter what your strategy is.
Yeah.
But like Pokemon, it's not like you just hit the button, right?
Yeah.
You just have to know what to throw at.
Yeah, well,
when.
Pokemon and competitive fighting games like Smash are similar in the way that you have to read your opponent's actions and you have to play a mental game with them. But Pokemon, you have time to think about your moves, and I don't think very fast, but I can come up with the solution eventually. And whenever you watch a competitive Pokemon battle, which they have, like the Pokemon YouTube channel posts like the finals from their World Championships and stuff, and you can see that they have like a notebook next to them, and they like really like sit there and like think for like a good like minute and a half. Like there's a timer on how long you can take to make your move, and the more time you use in one turn, the less time you have in others.
So they're essentially on those notepads, just kind of going through like
Yeah,
scenarios
yeah.
about what happens if
Yeah.
they use this, what happens if they do this to me in this case.
Yeah, well, that's what makes the
So-
VGC format really interesting, because you bring 6 Pokemon, but you only use 4, so you could change which Pokemon you bring in, and there's team preview, so you know your opponent's 6 Pokemon, but you don't know who they're going to use when they actually come out. So some Pokemon are exceptional leads, but then it becomes a guessing game as to who their last 2 Pokemon are, and how those 2 Pokemon can counter what you have going on right now.
Drew says that it's like so much more mind games in Pokemon. It's like chess.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, I like it so much. Like I feel so good when I make the right call, you know, and like sorry.
Definitely. Well, it reminds me of competitive Hearthstone.
Oh
which is
yeah.
obviously a very simplified version of like Magic the Gathering in a lot of ways, but just how high level Hearthstone players like know all the deck builds and like know what their opponents probably have in their hand, and like all the like ways that they have to like play around certain things and stuff like that. Just
Yeah.
how much strategy goes into
Exactly.
being a high level Hearthstone player, which I am not. I'm like middling at best.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like the format where they let you use restricted Pokemon becomes very linear, because like Primal Groudon, Xerneas are just significantly better than everyone else, and so it's really, really easy to predict the Pokemon that they're going to use. Whereas if it's with the whole Galar Pokedex, barring legendaries and mythicals, like there's a lot of different Pokemon you can use, but kind of just like how the Smogon tiers are built, like you're only really gonna use the Pokemon that are best. So the metagame will go in a certain direction, and even though there's a chance for variety, I think like if I get sick of having to rebuild my team over and over again, I could easily just use a rental team that I know is on the metagame.
Yeah.
And just be able to kind of play it like everyone else. I mean, that's what happens when you do, like, usually the Smogon tiers are played in a web browser game called Pokemon Showdown, which has all the battle data and statistics and everything from Pokemon games in it, but you can build your own team in a snap instead of having to invest so much time into IV breeding and EV training and finding a way to get their moves and all that stuff. Like, you build a team instantly, you play instantly, and when you notice that one of your Pokemon is failing, you can just type in a different name in the box and it'll be a whole different Pokemon.
Drew has said several things. The first thing he said is, Matt, play me in Showdown.
Oh, dude, I'd be down.
The second thing he said is, remember Mega Gengar? Oh, my lord. And the third is, Matt, you should get points for people using your rental team.
That would actually be a cool system. I mean, it would be cool if they at least displayed how many people have downloaded that team, so you know that it's like tight. What I'm really excited,
and how many times they've won with the team and lost.
Actually, that would be a really, really cool idea if they did that. I mean,
but it's Game Freak, so that probably won't happen.
Yeah, a logical decision that makes sense probably won't go in.
Oddly enough, Hearthstone actually does exactly that, but it's not Blizzard that does it. It's a third-party software or website. I can't think of the name of it, but they have like all the statistics for like deck builds and what the win rate is. So like a win rate like of 45 and above per match is considered pretty high.
Yeah.
And then you have like what decks that deck performs well against, and what decks it performs poorly against.
Snowstorm?
And like which
do you know if that's it? Drew
no, it's called it's Hearth something. Hearth. Yeah, I can't think of it, but just it's just like a general statistics site for Hearthstone.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, I like the idea of competitive games like that.
Yeah.
With metas and everything. I find it's a little bit boring when like you have metas that dictate what you can use.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's kind of how, like, you got to adapt to the meta or you die, right? That's
Yeah.
what happened.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what happened
Overwatch is a
in
really,
Overwatch,
really
but-
good example of that. Like, I talk about this all the time, but I found a video made by Seagull, who's like a really high level Overwatch player, really interesting, where it's called The State of Overwatch,
It's really good.
talks about how all of the characters that they came out with post launch just are hard counters to characters that already exist in the metagame. And so the metagame then becomes like, oh, this person is playing that, or this enemy is playing that character, you have to switch or we're gonna lose. And it kind of encourages like toxicity in that way. Like, I was so interested in everything that they kind of brought up in that video and stuff. Like, I really don't think Overwatch on the Switch is gonna sell well. I think people that are interested enough in the game will already have played it, and it doesn't seem like as appealing enough game for people that only own the Switch, right?
Yeah.
I can't see people paying full price for a game like that on the Switch.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is, aren't they going to be coming out with Overwatch 2 in like the next 2 years?
Something
Oh,
like
probably.
that?
So why would they release like the original game on something like that?
I
Well,
mean,
it
they
gets
can.
more interest for when the sequel comes out. Plus, if they've already figured out how to make Overwatch work on the Switch, they can launch Overwatch 2 or with the Switch on launch with the other games.
Matt with the good point. Look at that.
Dude, Nintendo's been doing such a good
Nintendo's
job.
been rocking it recently.
Oh.
Nintendo's been rocking it for years. That's
Oh.
what they do.
Actually,
They don't really do very many creative things. They just recycle it every decade, and people are like, "Ooh, a new old thing."
No, well, I don't know. I think
Nostalgia
like
sells, man.
It
they-
does.
but they've been like just bringing stuff to the Switch that Nintendo would have never done before. Like even
Yeah.
the idea of
that's true.
Overwatch on the Switch,
Yeah.
like that would have never been a dream for the Wii U, Wii, anything like that.
No.
I mean not just the fact that the game didn't exist back then. But
Yeah. No, I see what you mean.
like they just didn't do that, and now that they are, and like even the partnerships they've been having with like Xbox and everything, like it's exciting to see these big companies actually working together now instead
These
of
indie
just
companies?
fighting. Yeah, well, Nintendo's an indie company, as we understand already. But I think this is a good question. That's a good segue to something I think Drew's gonna really like. But is Borderlands gonna end up on the Switch? Borderlands 3? No.
No, I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, that was a quick question. Peter, how's Borderlands 3?
Borderlands 3 is good. if you're going in looking for some Borderlands, and you're gonna have a good time.
Nice.
It doesn't push the envelope too much, which is may or may not be a bad thing depending on you. But I like what they've done with the gunplay. There's a lot of quality of life improvements.
Like what?
Like let's see. When you're just in the map, you can fast travel to your car at any point. So let's say you go all the way into a little area for an objective. You can fast travel right to your car to get there.
Oh, that's okay.
When you open like containers for ammo, rather than holding X, it just goes automatically right to you. When you're buying ammo at the vending machines, you can just press Y to fill up. It's just little things like that. It just makes it more easy.
How would that work for multiplayer though? It's like first person in the chest just gets everything.
There's
now?
2 modes. There's cooperative, in which everyone gets their own unique loot, or there's competitive, in which all the loot everyone shares the loot that's dropped.
What would you prefer?
I would prefer cooperative.
Really?
I mean,
you don't like the essence of
I mean,
the
I
original
don't
games
mind it,
where
but,
you just fight over the guns?
I don't mind it, but like, why? Why have that? Like, I want my own. I want this.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
I
it
see
takes.
a gold gun. I don't want to be like priority 1, get gold weapon.
I don't know. I guess it just makes things a little easier for like not feeling like you've been slighted by one of your teammates. You know, like knowing that what you got is for you and not having to worry about it.
Yeah, I guess. But also I like the whole like. I mean, we've gone through it with some of the games, and I think Destiny, you get your own loot, right?
Yeah.
But like Borderlands, like you'd either every man for themselves fight to the death, or like you'd actually be nice to each other and be like, oh, I got the last good one, like here you are.
Yeah.
And usually because you're different characters, you specialize in different weapons anyways. So you'd be like, oh, here's a weapon for you, Peter, or like Eric, here's a weapon. Like you're what was he always? Commander or whatever. Soldier. No.
Commander.
Commissioner.
Sorry, what did you say? I was typing.
Who's the soldiers in Borderlands 1 and 2 that Eric always played?
Roland
and Atrax or something.
I don't remember the second guy's name.
Okay, yeah, Roland. So like he'd be like, "Oh, here's an assault rifle, Eric. This is for you." Where me, I was Mordecai and I was snipers. So
Yeah.
I think it worked out anyways. But I still thought it was funny when you stole a gun from someone.
There was definitely good memories.
Classic, Evan.
Axton was the second second soldier.
Axiom?
Axton.
Axton.
There
Oh,
was-
Axton.
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 Tongue.
He's a ton of axes.
There's a really cool DLC character in Borderlands 2 that I played at for like I only did a short playthrough. I don't think I really made a big dent in the game. I played it with Eric, and he's like, what are the crazy dudes called? Like the guys that are always on the cover.
The Psychos?
The psychos. He's like an advanced psycho, and he has like a saw and shit. He's like super cool, and yeah, I played it as him for. He had like a berserker ability where he'd like pull out this chainsaw and just like rip around for a while.
Yeah.
He's sick.
I actually have when Eric, Peter, and I were playing Borderlands 2 one time, we tried playing that campaign as co-op like multiple times. So we always end up only ever getting as far as like getting out of the ice world, like the first area.
Yeah.
So like, God, I kind of hate that area now because I played through it so many times and then we never got farther. But one of the times we tried to do it, it was like when when we were getting to the end of high school, and like for some reason I was like going out. I felt like a falling out with video games.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't as interested and it didn't grab me as much. And I was also starting to get very tired a lot of the times.
You're turning into an old man.
So
my bones ached.
Guys, that's what,
I was
guys,
really worried about the taxes.
guys, that's when Evan had the blood clot. No shit, he was tired all the time. So all the blood was going to his leg.
He was getting stuck. But we were playing and we were climbing the ship and Eric got down and Peter was somewhere else. And I run up to Eric and I start reviving him. And within the small revival time, I fell asleep and stopped reviving him and he died.
And Eric just be like, Evan, what are you doing? Just no response.
I'm
cow.
there like this.
Peter, it was the blood clot.
Oh,
I actually died. That's what happened. Right then and
He came
there.
back. I haven't had a chance to play Borderlands 3 yet. I'm pretty excited.
Well, you're probably only at 50% download.
That's the thing. That's what I'm leading into. Tellus sucks. I hate Tellus. Shut up, Jared. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you and your fucking God mode internet. I don't want to hear it. Good. That he's whispering. So I bought the game like a day before launch, or like the day of launch, which was Friday. Still downloading today.
Really?
But that's not all download speed. That's because I had a bunch of other things I needed to update. So it just kept booting. So I got like a few gigabytes in this thing and a few gigabytes in this thing. But I really fucking wanted to finish because I got the next 2 days off, and that's all I want to do is play Borderlands.
You should just bring it here and download
I
it.
don't like doing. I don't like admitting defeat. To
Admitting
download.
You plebs need my internet.
Remember, I got you here.
Well, yeah.
So we go you, and
Use
you have to
Jared's
work
too.
out. You have to like work out for every gigabyte download.
Yeah, that's why Jared has such good internet, because his home gym is actually connected to like the Ethernet cable, and like as he works out, it powers like it just increases the bandwidth.
It's like it's a hamster wheel. Jared runs on for good internet.
It's like he's what's that thing, Atlas? It's like he's Atlas and he's inside the Ethernet cable and he's lifting the bandwidth up so more internet can get through.
What a lore.
You know, Atlas's curse is that he can't let the world go, right? He has to keep holding it. He wouldn't have time to play Borderlands 3
Why do you
unless
think
he learns how to play with his feet.
Neither does this guy have time to play Borderlands 3.
Are you saying that Jared holds up the earth?
I'm saying Jared holds up his own internet.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm.
All right.
Yeah, I like the
Pointing
metaphor.
out.
I think you did well.
Thank you. I threw a little Greek mythology in there. I think it's Greek.
Yeah, no, it's
That's
good.
correct.
Atlas
little
is one of the Greek titans.
If you want to see
Just a little
Greek mythology mixed
Little
with
Tzatziki.
current day technology, there you go.
Hit me up with some more Greek mythology, Evan.
Well, I remember
Use your smite knowledge.
Well, there's a guy named Hades
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and another guy named
Good guy?
Zeus and a guy named Poseidon, and guess what?
They all slept
They're
with
all-
the same girl.
They're all brothers,
pretty
and
much.
Thanksgiving, which the Greek gods celebrate, is
Is this
very
the start to a porno?
Hades?
Hades has quite the travel length to get to Olympus for Thanksgiving dinner.
Full service, just like Persephone.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, and speaking of not Thanksgiving, but the next holiday, Christmas. And speaking
What
of
about
Christmas,
Halloween?
Oh,
Speaking
where are
of
we going here?
Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
segue. I was in Eau Claire today.
Okay. Let him finish.
I was in Eau Claire today with my family, and as we were sitting there eating food, I had a chicken sandwich. It was wonderful.
That's good.
Excellent.
I also had a delicious Guinness crab and something else soup. Pretty good. It was a little cold, but it was good.
It was all in one soup?
Yeah, it was all in one soup.
Dang.
Like obviously they didn't just put all like they didn't
They
just
would
put
crack
it in
Guinness
Guinness.
over it. But it's like Stardew Valley, and they just throw them together, and that's it. No, so we were sitting there, and I was eating my food, having a great time, and then this guy drove by on a motorcycle. It was pretty loud. He was honking around. We didn't see him yet, and then he came around the corner. He or she, because actually I couldn't tell, because it was actually the Grinch. It was someone dressed up in a Grinch outfit with a Santa costume on this motorcycle with a basket on the back with a dog in it with an antler on it, and it
What?
looked exactly like what's the dog's
Max. That's the name
Max
of
the
the
dog.
dog.
He was like fully in there, and then he walked his dog through Eau Claire dressed as Grinch, acting like the Grinch, just being a Grinch. And I think it was the small heart Grinch too, not the 10 times 2 big.
Dude,
heart.
you saw a cosplayer.
Yeah,
I might have seen Jim Carrey himself. It
could have been
like
Jim
walking
Carrey.
through Eau Claire Market.
It could have been Jim Carrey. It also could have just been some person that really likes the Grinch.
Who
And
doesn't like
just-
the Grinch?
But like really likes it enough to go out in the middle of September dressed as the Grinch with a dog, the same breed of dog
Oh my
as Max,
gosh.
with the antler
They
taped to
probably
his
had
head.
sex
So
in that
is he
Grinch
9
suit.
months late or 3 months early?
I
2 months
think
early.
I want to guess that it's a staple of like Eau Claire. Like this guy goes there every Sunday or every day, maybe.
Maybe.
and just
Maybe.
does his thing, like rollerblade guy up in Edmonton.
Sure.
See, Drew says, "Are you sure this wasn't the Grinch?"
Yeah.
I cannot confirm that it was
Maybe he just bought a
Grinch.
sick motorcycle.
Last time I checked, the real Grinch was small enough to fit on a snowflake, so I don't think it was the real Grinch.
I forgot about that.
Is the Grinch Ant-Man confirmed?
Wow.
Boo. It's weird you mentioned all of that, like not necessarily like in that order. Like I had a segue and then you like jumped 6 or 7 different areas.
Hey,
But,
my segue, I forgot where the brakes were.
But I've been whistling This Is Halloween all day. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it's in my head, but
We are approaching spooky season.
well,
at
that's
rapid
spooky season. But
velocity.
I was whistling this and someone asked me, is that a Halloween or Christmas movie?
It's a Halloween movie. It's not a Christmas movie.
Wait,
That's
what's
what
the
I
movie?
With
Nightmare
Jack-
Before Christmas.
with Jack Skeleton, Skelly Boy.
It's
is
definitely a
Halloween.
Halloween movie.
It's
It's
a
not a
Halloween
Christmas
movie.
movie.
It's a Halloween movie. It just involves Christmas as a subject. It's
It's
Halloween.
been so long since
Well,
I've seen it.
That movie.
I've
No,
never
no,
seen
no,
it.
no.
No,
I don't
yeah,
think that's a good argument because Die Hard 1 is a Christmas movie.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
using that logic, you would say Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie because it takes place at Christmas.
Well,
You know,
okay,
the
This is
sub-
a
it uses the
polarizing
subject of
subject,
Christmas.
guys.
So,
Just be
so
careful.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie because of the true respect that Die Hard as a movie has earned. And that's not to say that The Nightmare Before Christmas doesn't earn its respect, because The Nightmare Before Christmas, in theory, would be a Christmas movie because it's based in Christmas. But here's the thing. Christmas movies are also about the spirit. Christmas movies are about the aesthetic. You know, when you watch one of those terrible Hallmark Christmas movies, you know, because it's not the underpaid bad actors, it's the wreaths and the snow and the aesthetic. But when you watch this,
And the bullet storms.
when you watch the spooky Christmas movie, it's spooky. You're scared. You're like, well, it looks
Have
scary.
you watched the movie?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm very intimidated by it.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Because I was like, your argument, because they do all that. Basically, the Halloween world, they learn about Christmas and they do all that stuff.
That's another thing about the movie, though, because the movie starts right as Halloween ends, and then they're like going into the next couple seasons, I believe. It's been a while since I've watched
It's been a while since I've watched
Yeah,
it. as well.
it did. I think it does.
because
Just
the movie
end.
starts with them singing "This is Halloween, this is Halloween,"
Oh.
and then Halloween's over like a couple minutes into the movie, I believe, right?
Yeah.
But then Jack Skellington, the mayor of Halloween Town or whatever, finds out about all the other holiday towns, and then is like, "Oh, sweet, we can do Christmas now."
What's this? What's this? There's magic in the air.
That's a pretty good voice.
Is it
Pretty accurate.
is it a tight ass movie? Is that
That's
what
an
you're saying?
awesome movie.
It's
Yeah,
got
people
a
love
real
it, yeah.
tight ass.
It's a Tim Burton film.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're into Tim Burton, absolutely.
Well,
It's not too spooky. It's like
No, it's a
Oh.
kid's
not
movie.
even spooky.
yeah, no, I get it.
It just kind of has that kind of Tim Burton signature, like dark aesthetic, kind of that,
Yeah.
And it's
that
like-
flair.
And it's one of his claymation movies too.
Yeah.
right, as opposed to like he did
Corpse Bride.
Corpse Bride.
That's another one of his claymation ones.
The
Edward Scissorhands.
Demon Barbershop.
yes,
Todd
that's the one I was thinking
Sweeney-
of. Sweeney
Sweeney
Todd.
Well,
Todd
Sweeney,
Sweeney. Close.
Sweeney Todd was a Broadway musical.
Yeah, but
Oh.
then
he just
did
films the
film
movie adaptation. Yeah,
Batman.
that's right. He did.
Tim
he
Burton
did
did a
the Tim
Batman.
Burton
He did do
Batman.
Batman.
I think he did a couple Batman movies.
I think he did. Yeah.
Does he have his
I think
own
he did a
Batman
couple
trilogy?
I thought he only had the one.
I think he has
The one
two
movie.
because he did the Mr. Freeze one too.
I'm
I
on
think he
it.
did Batman and Robin.
I think he did do Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin, and then the Batman one with
Wait, he did-
Mr. Freeze.
He did like the Dumbo film that released this year.
Yeah.
Oh, did
I
he?
didn't know that. It was good. Jared says it was good. I never saw it.
I never saw it.
Did,
Did
they
you
still
like
have
the Lion?
Did they keep
How was
in?
it?
Oh, he did do multiple Batman.
Newsflash: Dumbo probably wasn't good then.
Oh, fuck your
Oh.
taste in movies.
No, I think that how they handled Dumbo, like I haven't seen either Dumbo or Lion King, but a lot of previews come up at work
Like
because
ever?
you know I see a lot of screens that are advertising DVDs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it looks like all the animals are supposed to be true to life representations that lack character, but Dumbo, you can tell that he's CGI. And that would make sense because he flies with his ears.
Yes.
None of the animals do that.
My childhood.
Are you telling me those racist crows in the original animation weren't real racist crows?
I wonder if they kept that.
I was wondering. I was going to
There's
ask Jared.
no way.
No, they absolutely got rid of all the racism in that movie.
They probably
Yeah.
just made them like voiced because wasn't I haven't seen really Dumbo the animated movie, but were the crows racist or was it just the fact that they were like stereotyped?
The crows were racist stereotypes of,
Okay.
of like black Southern men.
So they could have kept the crows and then just had Seth Rogen do the crows or something.
That makes it so much better.
And then change the dialogue a little and whatever.
Do you work at Disney?
I would,
Seth Rogen.
I would assume that Disney probably just like did away with a lot of that stuff because Disney
Yeah.
has been pretty good about owning up to like their racist roots. From,
Yeah.
the 30s and 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Oh, Drew says, Matt, you just missed Esam yelling at someone in the crowd.
Oh, really? Oh, Esam's such a douchebag. I cannot.
He's a Smash player, right?
Yeah, he's. Oh, I can't stand it.
He plays Pikachu, right?
Yeah, so he plays Pikachu, and so if you like Pikachu players, it's cool. But the thing is like, he's okay. Let me explain this to you.
That's
so,
cool, but
just as a side note, the only reason why I knew that is because I saw a tweet today about how someone was like,
Oh,
did
that-
Ash Ketchum really just win a championship before Esam with a Pikachu? Like
yeah, no, that I retweeted that. I can't stand Esam, and this is the example as why I think is the best way to explain it. Before the first like huge super major for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's top 8 began, they did an interview with each player, like just like I think it was them and them talking to their opponent for like a second and then asking them questions. And this guy Esam, his interview, he goes Pikachu busted, I'm godlike, and he's the only player that calls himself godlike consistently, and he was also the only player in that top 8 that did not take a single game from anybody and just immediately lost. He is the one player who thinks he's amazing, but he loses all the time. And so the guy that I always like tweets from, because I mean, I'm not gonna say some like I'm not gonna talk shit on Esam like on his tweets or something, because then other mean smashers will just make fun of me, and I just don't want to be that type of person.
I'm not ready for that.
Yeah. I'm just not that type of person.
That's not how I want to be known to the community.
Yeah,
Smash
well,
community.
well, I just don't want to be that type of person, right? And like, but like every time I see a tweet that just roasts him completely, I like it. And the video, one of the videos that I think Eric said he saw it and he really liked it, was like he did a first to 10 like $500 money match with this guy who plays Peach, and he took one game right at the start and then just got steamrolled 10 games, and the very last kill was the Peach player taunting and baiting Esam into using Pikachu's quick attack to appear like literally right next to him, and then he just does a smash attack and kills him. And it's like you deserve that because of how bad you are.
Every community needs someone like that. He's like the foil in like an anime show to
Yeah.
like the main character who
Yeah.
thinks he's like hot shit, but then the main character is like, no, I've just had like 27 episodes of like character development.
Yeah.
You're going down.
Well, he's got a really loyal fan base as well. Like there's a lot of people that really like him. Like he's just that type of character. I guess annoying people are just attracted to him.
Well, I think I imagine if it's that ridiculous, it's probably, it's not the right way to say it, like not an act, but like he's
plays it up a
playing a
little bit.
character.
Yeah.
He's not. That's not actually what he's like, but he's playing a
hope.
character because that's
Yeah.
how he grew his fan base.
Maybe.
Potentially, or it could just be a.
So
a
Drew
cuckbag.
said he beat Light and popped off, then got into a yelling match with someone. He's
my
like a
God.
bad H-box.
Can you send me that link? So I really
Aren't
wanna watch
a lot
I
of
don't have
the
it.
professional Smash players pretty like toxic?
that.
Toxic. Not
Well, I mean, a lot of them kind of suck in one way or another. The character, the professional Smash players that are like really universally liked are like held up as gods.
like
and like
Zero.
no, well, Zero's just kind of annoying.
is
Everybody hated Zero. So Zero was like uncontestedly the best player for all of Super Smash Bros. Wii U's lifespan. He was so good. He's one of the only like fighting game players to have something like, it was I think 56 tournament winning streak. Like he was just tiers better than everybody else. And then he finally got taken down, and like everybody just kind of loved to hate him because like people get tired of seeing the same person win. And especially if it's not like a super hype character, like he played Diddy Kong, and like people just get sick of that, I guess. And but then he just started being like a YouTuber in like he realized that you can make so much more money making clickbaity YouTube videos than competing in Smash tournaments. So he's not really into it now, but like there's a few that are just kind of universally held up, or they're just kind of douchebags one way or another. Like the Smash
MK Leo now.
What did it say?
Drew says like MK Leo now. I think in reference to Zero.
Yeah, MK Leo's kid. And it's funny because MK Leo was born as like a prodigy of Zero's as well. Like MK Leo was Mexican and Zero's from Chile, so like Zero's one of the only people that. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. Chile, I guess. Chile. So Zero is like the only person that could communicate with MK Leo in his native tongue, and they like train together, and then MK Leo like slowly surpassed Zero.
Are you telling me there's no one else on the Smash circuit who speaks or Spanish?
Well, I'm sure there's at least one more.
I almost said Mexican, but yeah, no, Spanish.
Speaks Mexican. Yeah. I mean, it's cool for what it is. Like, I like watching Smash tournaments for the gameplay, but I really don't participate in the community anymore, and I really didn't that much in the first place, just because I just can't stand any of them anymore. They're just like people kind of are starting to universally like regard Smash as just one of like the worst gaming communities, and like these days it's like a Spanish soap opera, man. Like there's so many people that get like sexual harassment charges, or somebody posted a screenshot of like this girl Isabel player that was getting a ton of hate, like literally saying lynch N-word and like full N-word, like literally in like Discord chat. And then literally the Smash community is the fastest cancel culture community I've ever seen. They will shut you so down if anything happens, if any news comes out about you. There's like this guy that I met before, because when I lived in Montreal, he was Canada's best player. His name was Ally, and it came out that he was dating a 15-year-old, and then the 15-year-old coerced him into throwing a bunch of tournaments. So like conspiracy theorists were literally going back and watching the footage and watching him just like get right to last hit and just completely throwing it. And like, oh, it's so much drama, man. It's crazy.
Hoax Not Negotiable says, Happy Flat Earth New Year. And
We did it.
And see you all at the Area 51 September 20th in Urda Run. That's in like 5 days.
That's so.
That's
days.
5 days
dude.
away.
Yeah.
I can't be there. I have to play Dungeons and Dragons with my friends.
I'm curious to
By
see
the way,
if
I'm gonna miss this Friday.
I'm very curious to see if anybody actually takes a charge at Area 51.
Absolutely gonna do it. There's some
Yeah.
dumbass
Yeah, but
rednecks
I
out
can't
there.
wait.
There's like 20 miles between Area 51 and like one of the closest like stops.
Yeah.
pickup trucks. I'm gonna head on down in there.
Like the U.S. government's come out and said, haven't they? Like, well, I don't know if they come out, but don't they say that they will shoot you dead if you try to like get through Area 51?
Pretty sure there's signs all around.
So,
Yeah.
but like, what are they
We'll
gonna do?
shoot you dead.
Are they gonna kill like 1,000 people if they start running at Area 51?
Absolutely.
Oh, so people have already been showing up and getting arrested, I guess.
What?
Really?
I guess that's what
Oh,
chat
they're
says.
idiots. They're
See-
ruining it for everyone
See,
else.
The thing that I kind of hopes comes out of all this Area 51 stuff is that it just ends up becoming like a yearly music festival that's held right outside Area 51, where it's like Burning Man, but instead it's a giant alien they
can't know our
burn.
culture.
I mean, that's a joke, but that's actually like something that could actually
No, it
happen.
could
There could
happen. I
absolutely be like a
100%
big
see that.
festival that happens like on September 20th every year.
Yeah, that's
That would
what
be
like
awesome.
that's what Blake and Courtney keep saying every time I talk to them. They're like, yeah, I hope that's what happens,
I
and
just,
then we're gonna go to it next year.
I saw a post recently of a guy who I guess it was a festival in his hometown that he was going to, and he went to the grounds a couple days earlier, buried a water bottle of vodka, and then entered the grounds, dug up the water bottle, and he just had his drink ready to go.
I did not smuggle anything into the ground.
Yeah.
It was already there before you were.
That's pretty smart.
That is genius.
I might have to do that for Country Thunder.
Oh, dude, my
There's
brother.
a couple hide in a tree or something.
Imagine like Zelda.
My brother went to Glastonbury this past year because he's been living in England for a while, and apparently, like, so they don't have to leave the crowd. Girls will literally just squat down, pee in a bottle, close it up, and just throw the bottle somewhere.
That's talented.
Glastonbury is a crazy festival.
Yeah, I really want to go.
It's one of those festivals that, yeah, if I had to pick a festival, I would go to it. It's just, it's in England, in the
Yeah.
middle of a farmer's field,
Yeah.
in some place I'm not familiar with, but they have some of the best acts, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a huge, like, week-long festival.
Although my brother was telling me something kind of interesting. He said that there's a really big difference between like not very well known artists and then like the super popular ones, because the not very well known ones are like super stoked to be there and they know they've been given an amazing opportunity. But then like George Ezra was an example of like super famous, like super popular people who feel like they're doing Glastonbury a favor by being there. Like you can just tell there's a completely different level of energy. Like they just don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that happens with a lot of festivals.
Yeah.
It can happen, or even just concerts in general.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
This was a fun podcast. I just want to finish it off by saying half the time you were talking about either Smash or Pokemon, it just went over my head.
Well,
And less so with the Pokemon, pretty much all the Smash, but like
You
I don't know as many Pokemon as you do. So
Just because I lived with Evan and my old roommate Ash for so long, I can like catch certain bits of like fighting game community stuff like
Well,
out of the air.
I guess I shouldn't be upset that you didn't necessarily pick up everything that I was saying. I should just be happy that I got this much time in an LC
every once in a
podcast
while.
to talk
We'll
about
let you
Pokemon
have
and
one.
stuff.
Yeah, I do have one last thing to say. I wanted to keep it a surprise, but it's just gonna kill me if I can't. So I needed to buy some stuff on Amazon earlier this week.
Oh,
She was supposed to be here on Friday. I got one of the things I ordered on Friday, and fucking Dark Magician Girl wasn't one of them. So she'll be here next week.
is this a cardboard cutout of her?
That would be hilarious. Maybe that's next on the show. No, this is a Pop Funko of Dark Magician.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
Going up there
I'm
under the
excited
mantle.
for that.
That's
the next
awesome.
is an anime pillow.
Well,
Yeah.
keep
On
your
the
eyes
mantle.
keep your eyes peeled to the mantle
behind
for
the
Dark
TV.
Magician Girl's arrival.
Yeah.
Damn, cardboard cutout would have been so much funnier.
I've looked up cardboard cutouts and like they're so expensive.
Yeah.
Like if you're ordering them online, they're like $100, and some of them will be like $20 with like over $100 shipping.
Yeah.
Like,
I
It's
guess it's pretty
cardboard.
niche.
give it the
Yeah.
make the box the cardboard cutout and just send me that. Like I don't care. And there's not really any interesting ones. The funniest one I found was like a Shrek one. That would have been pretty funny. But that one was
What
expensive.
do I do with that?
Yeah.
Put it behind the counter.
I always have a Shrek around in my house.
Hey now.
I remember I had
star.
some family friends who live in like Springbank, and like one of the really nice houses in Springbank, and I was at their house and I must have been going like helping them renovate or something, because I was like going back and forth from the basement and stuff, and every time I went in the basement there was a cardboard cutout of Sheldon Cooper that was like across the room facing the door, and literally it activates your someone's there mechanism every time, and they're looking right at it, so you're like, huh! And then you're like, oh my god. Literally, like I went back and forth downstairs like maybe like 10 or 20 times, and like 19 just like
That would be hilarious if like you put that in a room, and then you find like one of those cards that has like Bazinga in it, and you took that little mechanism out, because you can put that into like door frames and it will function properly.
Yeah.
So then when they open it, you'll just see Sheldon Cooper on the other side of the room, and it'll just go Bazinga.
I hate Big Bang Theory.
Shuckle says Bazinga.
I remember like the discourse around Big Bang Theory, I think, completely turned around when the Twitter account Lyle McDouchebag made a tweet where he was like, he literally got so mad he watched like a sequence from Big Bang Theory, and then he literally paused it, and I shit you not, he screams like "fuck you," and then he's like, it like just explains how like literally they're about to play ping pong. And oh my god, I don't. It just sucked. It was like we're gonna play Dungeons and Dragons theme on the field of Halo. Like it literally just listed like a bunch of geeky shit, because it's like we're geeks. Like there's just no joke. He just listed that. And of course, the laugh track plays after, and it's like, good god, he was mad.
Well-
and then. Sorry, I was gonna say, Peter's looking at me like doing this,
We gotta
and I'm
wrap
like,
this up.
hold on, what if I talked more about Big Bang Theory?
Yeah. What are you
Um,
gonna do to stop me?
I think
Oh,
people
God,
just
the
universally
power button.
realized how sucky that show is after. It's good that it finally ended.
I watched it for 5 seasons, and I liked it. But you know what? Power to it. Do you like Big Bang Theory?
No.
I memorized the intro song. That was about
It was done by the Bare Naked Ladies.
Bare Naked
probably-
Ladies.
that's probably why.
Okay, what do you think about the Bare Naked Ladies?
I love the
Bare
intro
Naked
with
Ladies.
What do you think about Big Bang Theory? What do you think about the mystery? Tell us your theories about the mystery, because it's still a cold case, and we need that thing to be warmed up like a marshmallow over a fire pit. So thank you again
Rookie
for coming
Evan.
to Live Connection Podcast number 20.
Number 20.
We are Live Connection Mystery Incorporated, and we thank you.
We'll also be
Goodbye.
on in like 2 seconds, 10 minutes after this.
We'll be back. Playing some
Yeah,
Celeste
playing.
tonight.
Bonus, Les.
We're finishing Celeste. Well, actually, we probably don't have enough time to finish it.
Oh,
but-
Yeah, well, we'll
We
do
have like
we'll
2
do the
hours.
we'll do the last level at least.
Shuckle thinks he might have liked Big Bang Theory.
There was definitely a point where it was okay, but then everyone started pointing out like how bad it was, and then
Yeah.
it's like, Oh yeah,
No,
everyone's
no.
right.
The podcast is over. We're gonna say one thing. When we're doing this recording, we are actually recording the footage so that we can edit it into a YouTube video. So we're not good at like the players aren't really gonna be reading the chat or even seeing the chat. Someone's gonna be at the helm doing all the chatting and stuff like that. So just so you know,
that's what we're doing.
it's a little bit of a different format. It's a let's play. It's a live let's play. It's
I
exciting.
feel
It's
like
very
we
exciting.
could
isn't it?
explain that when we were streaming.
There you go, podcast listeners.
This
Jared,
podcast
there we
is
go.
over.
That's
Jared's
why
already
I'm
ended the
playing
video.
it.
Well,
No, Jared, it's done.
There's a recording.